And good afternoon and welcome to this week's Spartan Spotlight. I'm John Schwartz. Alongside me here is head coach Greg Debiljak. As the Spartans get set to take on Washington University, a UA rivalry game coming up here in just a few minutes. Coach, thanks for joining us as always. Let's start with last week's game and pretty thrilling victory, 35-28 over Washington and Jefferson. Have to imagine in your years here at Case Western Reserve, that has to stick in your mind as one of the better wins.
Certainly. I think it was the first win against a ranked opponent that we've had here in a regular season game. So, it's something, especially with being in the PAC, making that transition and, not exactly lighting it up last year. This was an important statement game for us, and we came through, and it was a great game. Two really good teams going after each other and played a very high level. After the first quarter, things started to happen, and just very happy with how our guys, defensively kept us in the game in the first quarter with a couple fourth down stands, and then our offense, after going four consecutive 3-and-outs, after that just played at second quarter on. We put up 500 yards offense and 35 points against a nationally ranked defense. So yeah, it was a special night. It was a lot of fun to be a part of, and I know the kids were very happy afterwards, as was I.
Coach, I asked you this before the St. Vincent game, after the Chicago game, and I'm going to keep answering until I get the answer I want here. But, Rob Kuda, has anything he's done this season surprised you? So successful, and then to do it last week against Washington and Jefferson. Have you been surprised by any of this yet, or is it still all what you expected from him?
Well, I think the surprising thing is, to throw as many times as we had, and, for teams to know that Rob's going to throw the ball, to not have thrown an interception yet is quite a stat. Not anything really remotely close to an interception yet. And I keep planning on what I'm going to say to Rob after he throws his first interception to be supportive, and he keeps on just doing, just unbelievable things. So he's a playmaker. He's a great player. He's a gunslinger. The guys believe in him. And that's the thing. He's not an extrovert. He's not a guy that, says, look at me, look at what I've done. He just quietly goes about his business, and his business is just making play after play. So, yeah, he's the real deal, no doubt about it.
I think the connection that he and Brian Erb have found this year has been pretty impactful, too. Erb is a senior leader on this offense, or one of the senior leaders on this offense. Talk about his role this season and how he's emerged as really one of the top receivers, certainly in the PAC. Maybe in Division III right now. Yeah,
he's athletically, he's a special player at this level. He's 6'1", he's 205 pounds. He runs really well, really gets after the ball and goes up and gets it. So we had great expectation for Brian, and then he just got injured. He missed his entire sophomore year, half his junior year. So out of his first 30 games, he didn't play 15 of them. So he's been healthy. And if he's healthy, he is a load to stop, because he is so big and so fast. He's a matchup problem. So, elated that it's happening. We really expected it to happen sooner in his career, but injuries just kind of postponed it, and for a very special senior year. And he does have a redshirt year, and we'll talk to him, about taking graduate courses or internships, co-op. We'd like to have him around for next year, too.
Not a bad guy to keep around. Let's start looking at this week here, and kind of an interestingly positioned game against WashU this week. It's a week off from PAC competition with a big matchup against Thomas More on the horizon, but this is a huge game for you guys, a UAA contest. How do you keep the team focused on this current game right now and not looking ahead to what's going to be a playoff deciding game next week against Thomas More?
Yeah, it really was the first thing we talked about Sunday when we met with the kids following the victory. Was, we have 4 tough games, and that was the first one of them. And we need to find a way to bring the intensity that we had in that game. And it's difficult. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is very difficult to play and maintain that level of play over a 4-week period. This is usually our marquee game, and because of now being in the PAC, it takes on a little different light. What we stressed is that the seniors haven't beaten WashU. We've lost to them 3 years in a row. So to us, this is a very meaningful game. And I know for WashU it's a meaningful game. So we have to do whatever it takes to get back up to the level emotionally and physically, because it took a toll physically too. W&J is a physical team, and we're a little beat up right now. So we have to make some decisions. Is it worth putting a kid out there if he's hurt a little bit, or do we save him, for a game that means a playoff consideration? So we'll make those decisions at game time. But this is a big game for us, and I know the kids, big game for the kids. No one's looking past it, but the challenge will be to get ourselves physically and emotionally at a high level. It's going to be difficult.
WashU, really no secret what they're going to try to do against you guys offensively. One of the better passing teams in the country behind junior quarterback J.J. Tomlin there. Should be an interesting matchup between the two passing games between the two teams. But talk a little bit about what you've seen from WashU so far, and again, what you expect to see from them this weekend.
Yeah, impressive. In many ways, offensively, they throw the ball all over the place. They throw the ball about 70% of the time. And that's a little bit different. They also go at an extremely quick pace, and we are ready for that. Washington Jefferson played at a very fast pace, and so we've had 2 weeks of practice against that. Now going out and executing against it, that's a different thing. A little different. W&J was an underneath throwing team, more of a, throw it short and run for the long game, where WashU will test you down the field, and they have just a plethora of receivers. They rotate 8 guys, and I think they have 6 guys with over 10 catches, 2 guys with over 40 catches, so they'll spread it around. Very challenging. And defensively, we've always had issues with WashU's defense. They are very well coached. They know us very well. But now the X factor is Kuda. That's something we haven't had since Dan Whalen, and that puts defenses in a little different situation. So what we've done to prepare really over the last 5 or 6 weeks with the emergence of Rob is, how are they going to play us? Are they going to drop 8 and try and rush 3, or are they going to come after us and we kind of see what's going on and make our adjustments from there? So should be an exciting game. And as a coach, it's a game that it's going to be a game of punches and counter punches, and 2 really good coaching staff is trying to find the best thing to do as the game goes on.
Coach, good luck this week. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Play-by-play of today's game. Dave Wilson and Eddie Jansen on the call. Case Western Reserve University taking on Washington University here at DeSanto Field when we get back.